I self-consciously do not identify as an MRA, a men's rights activist. And I self-consciously try to avoid the MGTOW. Just avoid them altogether. Now, why do you think I do so? I mean, come on, if I were to go MGTOW, go MRA and shit, right, I'd get a huge fucking audience. Oh yeah. If I were going out there and saying, oh, women are bitches, you know, all these fucking whores, you know, they're all hypergamous whores, and I hate them, you know, they're evil bitches who are trying to fuck us poor men over, ooh, boo, hoo, hoo, yeah. If I were to play that game, I'd have a huge fucking audience, motherfucker. Yeah, but I don't. I don't go talking MGTOW shit, and I don't do talking MRA shit. And why? Well, because you see, you have to avoid the resentful male. And of course, make sure that you don't become a resentful male. Now, what's a resentful male? Very simple. A resentful male is a man who is very upset because he does not have the things that he thought that he should be getting in terms of success, money, women, life in general. A resentful man, a resentful person, is something that I have a great deal of difficulty understanding because I myself am not naturally resentful. If somebody else has something better than me, I'm like, lucky for them. And insofar as my defects are concerned, the things that I was born with that do not allow me to accede to certain things that I would like, well, I've reconciled myself to them years ago. I mean, like, for instance, you know, you guys probably didn't realize that I have terrible eyesight, right? And I have a lazy left eye, and therefore, because of it, I don't have any depth perception. Ergo, I can't fly a plane. You know, one of my childhood dreams was to fly a plane. I thought it would be so cool, but I can't because I have no depth perception. And this is a limitation that I have, that a resentful person would be resentful of it all the time. But me, in my own case, I've just reconciled myself to it. And that goes for all of my defects and all of my deficiencies, or most of them at any rate. I've reconciled myself to them, and so they don't bother me. I wish I could be a pilot. I wish I could be an astronaut, because that was a real intention, right? But I can't because I have lousy eyes. And that's life. And that's the issue. Resentful people cannot say, that's life. And so because they can't say that that's life, they are perpetually angry. They are angry and they are, well, resentful. Because that's what resentment is. It's anger at not getting what you want. Anger and an inability to accept your limitations. See? See, I am always of the opinion that you should be pushing your limitations. You should always be, you know, improving to yourself, striving to improve yourself. But you have to realize that you do have limitations. We all do. Okay, obviously, we're just human beings, right? For instance, we can't naturally fly because we don't have any fucking wings, motherfucker. And so you have to reconcile yourself to those limitations and see how you can work around them. We were born without wings as a species, tragedy. But some smart motherfucker figured out how to make a machine that could do it for us, right? And we could hop on an airplane and fly around. Yay, human beings. But see, I do believe that that is possible for every man. But curiously enough, the resentful male does not think that he can really overcome his limitations. And that is what pisses him off. Do keep in mind, there are certain limitations that you have that you cannot overcome them. And those you have to reconcile yourself to them. But most other limitations, or let me phrase that, most limitations that are in your way in order to achieve the things that you want, that you have seen other men achieve, and that you certainly want for yourself, well, most of them are surmountable. But the thing is, see, and the dirty little secret about resentful males is that they don't believe that. It's not that they don't try. It's in their heart of hearts, they don't believe it. They don't believe that they can overcome limitations. And therefore, they don't try. Or worse, sometimes they tried and they failed. And this is something else that you have to understand, that that's a part of life. That that's life. You try, and sometimes, many times. In fact, I would venture to argue most times, you fail. And no matter how hard you try, and no matter how many brain points, IQ points you apply to the problem, you fail. This is natural, okay? It's a natural state of affairs. And of course it hurts, of course it fills you with bitterness and unhappiness for having tried to achieve something and having failed at it. But you see, and this I suppose is the issue with resentful males, is that, see, most of life is like that. Most of the time we fail. But resentful men are under this bizarre illusion that they think that they shouldn't fail, that they are owed something or other, whatsoever it may be. It may be success or the pretty girls or whatever the fuck that they're resentful about. They think that they are owed this thing. Understand, you are not owed shit. You don't deserve anything. Nobody deserves anything. Everything that people have, people more successful than you in whatever area or endeavor, how do you think they got it? They just sort of like fell in their fucking lap? No. They worked their asses off. And the ones that you see that are successful were the lucky ones. And that's the problem. You see the successful entrepreneur. You see the guy who's got all the pretty girls. You see only the successful ones. You don't see all the others who tried and failed. Because they were legion. The pyramid always gets smaller. You're rising up the pyramid, and at every level, there are fewer men. And the ones who get to the top, the ones who get to the tippity top, who've got all the money and all the girls and all the success and all the whatnot, they were the lucky ones. They were the ones that got to the top, and you don't see the thousands, perhaps millions below them that failed. Because that's the natural state of affairs in the life of a man. Most of your life is failure. But these resentful men don't get it. They think that they are owed success, that it's their birthright or some shit like that. It's not. It's nobody's birthright. The guys who get to the top were lucky. Yes, they worked hard, extremely hard. I mean, let me make it clear to you, see? Without work, without commitment, 100% commitment to any objective, you're never going to reach it, no matter how lucky you might happen to be, okay? I mean, you want to succeed in business, you want to succeed with women, you want to succeed at anything, you've got to work your fucking ass off, and in addition to that, have a little bit of luck. Yeah, because that's life, man. That is life. And it's grossly unfair, and it has always been unfair. But the thing is, see, in the current society that we're living in, we see so many men who are so successful, so much more successful than we are. We see them because of the issue of communication and you know, the internet and TV and all the other crap that we've got in our lives. These tools of communication allow us to see the more successful men. And so we become bitter because we ask ourselves, you know, what's he got that I don't have? How come he's successful? He's got the big bucks, he's got the hot women, and I don't. Why does he have it and I don't? It's not fair. And that's where the mistake comes in. You're only seeing the lucky ones. You're not seeing all the other failures, all the millions of other failures in all the other endeavors. There's Elon Musk. He's a big old billionaire with Tesla and his spaceship, rocket ship company, whatever the fuck. Good on him. You don't think that there have been, you know, hundreds of other guys who are just below that, who didn't quite make it to that tippity top? Not to mention the thousands, tens of thousands right below those guys, and the hundreds of thousands, if not millions, on the level below those. Yeah, you see? The resentful male is somebody that you want to avoid at all costs because resentment is catching. The resentful male doesn't realize this because he's blind. It doesn't matter the specifics for each individual guy because each individual resentful guy is going to be different in his own unique way, okay? The great line from Tolstoy is very much true insofar as resentful guys are concerned, at any rate. But the point for you, you don't want to be around resentful guys. You don't want to be around resentful guys for two reasons. Number one, resentment rubs off. And your bad luck, well, you'll start resenting your bad luck, as opposed to reconciling yourself to that bad luck, on the one hand. And on the other hand, the resentful guy, he's gonna pull you down. Yeah, I remember this guy called Philip in high school. Okay, I knew that guy real well in high school, and of course we kept in touch after high school because I went to a private school, and you know, we were all in the a fairly high echelon of society back in Chile. And Philip had this best friend of his called, let's call him Henry. And Henry was a handsome guy, and he was a smart guy. Okay, he was lazy and not particularly successful at school, but not because he was stupid. He wasn't. He was smart, right? But the thing is, Philip was a very resentful guy, and Philip and Henry were very close. I mean, they were best friends. And Henry was pulled down by Philip because Philip's resentfulness and his anger at his own fortune brought down Henry. And I suspect that Philip deliberately became friends with Henry in order to bring him down. Philip was a guy who was not particularly handsome. He was a little bit overweight, to tell you the truth, or quite a bit overweight, actually. He wasn't handsome, and he wasn't that clever. And Henry was fairly clever, and he was a good-looking guy. And retrospectively, I realized that Philip attached himself to Henry just to pull him down, just so that he could feel better about himself. And that's typical of the resentful male. They pull you down to feel better about themselves. Yeah. Do you want that? Do you want to be pulled down by a friend? I mean, because these resentful males, right, they sort of like sneak up on you. And I've met a few online, actually, MGTOW guys. And they try to like sort of like ease their way into being friends with me. And when they started talking about like all women are bitches and shit like that, right? I mean, expressing their resentment that they had towards women. I was like, fuck off, man. Women aren't bitches. Women are human beings with a lot of flaws. Flaws that are different from men's flaws. But they're human beings, and they're not by definition bitches and hoes. No, I don't think that at all, because they're not, right? And as soon as I made that clear, these resentful MGTOW guys, they faded. I mean, none come near me nowadays because they know that I think that they're full of shit. They know that I think that they're resentful fucksticks who are just trying to drag people down. And I, for one, want nothing to do with them. And you shouldn't either. Whenever somebody resentful comes into your orbit, you cut them out. Cut them out. You don't need them around. Resentful people will bring you down. You have to understand that, see, you're not owed anything. Everything in life, you have to work very hard to get it. And you have to have a measure of luck. People don't like to admit that, but it's true. In my own case, I've been exceedingly fortunate on a number of occasions. I've been very successful in a number of endeavors that I've pursued. But in just about every one of those endeavors, there was a big dollop of luck. I worked my ass off, but there was that luck. So anyway, so you have to understand that you're not owed anything. That anything you want is going to be hard to get, and you're going to need a little bit of luck to get it. And you don't want to be around anybody who's resentful, because they'll just pull you down. They'll rob you of your energy, of your enthusiasm. And they'll fill your heart with bitterness when you don't achieve the things that you want. See? And do you want to have a life filled with that bitterness in your heart? Do you want to have a life filled with just resentment? Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, please subscribe to my Patreon channel. Link is in the description below. I put out an extra video every week, a video that you'll find nowhere else. And I also do a Sunday call-in show called the Weekly Webinar, which is, 2 to 3 hours every Sunday. And I take questions and comments from viewers. It's a hell of a lot of fun. So please check it out. Like I said, link is in the description below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will catch you next time.